Hey everyone, welcome back to the Fermi Paradox. I'm DisturbingPuppet. So this is our game playing a galactic gardener as we're trying to foster various different alien civilizations to essentially reach the singularity, and that kind of is the end of things, if we can get them that far. So we have 4 different species out here running around. We have the Vakai hives, the Batir fertile territories, the Maru nations, and the Dorloth democratic republics. So we'll take a look at everybody here. So, the Dorloth are my oldest race that are still alive. Yeah, running into some problems here. They're running low on resources, but they're getting pretty close to getting to the next age, which I think will switch them over to like using uranium rather than the coal. So they should be fine, I think. They have experienced jazz music and have sent signals out into space. We've got a certain number of points we can use for events and things as they come up to try to keep these guys alive along with everybody else. Yeah, they've done pretty well overall. No real major problems. It's their signal, you can kind of see that's as far as the music has gone. Nobody else is at their level of technology. Maru were the second race that popped up. So they're sort of clothes-wearing, blind, critter-verse dinosaur people. They are in much more trouble because they are running out of coal. Kind of been babysitting them for a bit. They are currently engaged in a series of ore wars going on, which has dropped their population a bit and population growth, but it's still too high, so I think we're going to have to keep dropping the population. They almost got wiped out a time in the past, and we'll see what happens with them as we progress forward. The Batir fertile territories are a utopian living plant species, and they're doing generally pretty well. They're focused on memorializing the dead as well as building giant libraries, so they're kind of space Egyptians, I guess. Plant Egyptian people. They're on a fairly inhospitable planet, but there's a bunch of canyons that they kind of live in and have been able to spread pretty effectively across the planet. The Maru, their planet is pretty normal. These guys, the Dorloth, are living on kind of an ice world where they warm up and hollow out living spaces inside the ice, which seems like a bad idea. And then we have the newest one that popped up, which is the Vakai hives, a very aggressive insectoid race. They are still in the Stone Age, but they're moving along fairly well. They might be who we kind of let die off if we have to take the choice. But yeah, for the moment, we're just going to kind of sit on the Maru and see if we can kind of get these guys to survive a bit. They are going to experience some resource problems here pretty soon, so we're just going to keep moving along. More industrial production. Yeah, I don't know that we want to do that. Fossil fuels, mineral resources deep below the surface. Did that change anything? Not really. Okay, Dorloth Democratic Republics have reached a new age. Dorloth enter the nuclear age. When rocket technology begins to take off, the race for space dominance among the emerging superpowers on Rigel 7 is on. Jet planes increase the potential for travel all over the globe, and nuclear age communication technology allows news and entertainment to spread via mass media. As the Dorloth delve into the secrets of the atom, the threat of extinction looms ever heavier on the horizon. Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. Robert Oppenheimer, quoting the Bhagavad Gita, something like that. So we'll have a way to kind of influence their civilization as it progresses to the next. So we can sort of change what they want to do. So we've got points we can spend, we can just kind of go with whatever. So yeah, they're good for a couple hundred years. So we can go wisdom at the cost of some points. The Dorloth romanticize technology as they begin to see the rapid, drastic changes it brings about in their society. Inspired by science fiction across all media, the Dorloth hope to make contact with alien life forms if there's anybody out there. I don't know why, so they've recently added the ability to use controllers and stuff, but they've added this ugly pop-up that keeps coming up every time I hover over anything that shows you all the stuff, and it really needs to not be there. Game is early access, things can and will change like that, I'm sure. Hopefully that is something that will go away at some point, or at least give you the opportunity to get rid of. We can go advancement. The Dorloth could achieve the dreams of space travel in this age. With superhighways now connecting most cities, it might also be a good time to start thinking about reducing fossil fuel consumption. So that gets us more resources and more population growth. This is sort of ethics and technology. Power. Heading farther down the warpath, which we haven't really done. The Dorloth can expect to see assault rifles, jet fighters, and napalm, not to mention the mother of all bombs. Yeah, that one. We've been pretty good with these guys, but spending out like, I really focused on them sending out radio signals recently when they moved to the last age. They're moving through ages pretty quickly. They've got too many people, honestly, but we can't do much about that. I think we'll just go with the standard advancement. 40 points is way too much to spend at this point. So yeah, we'll just go with basic advancement. So superhighways, reducing fossil fuels, all that good stuff. Yeah, so they have pocket jungles beneath Rigel 7. So we just advance things here. And they're all to maintain populous residential areas with large-scale energy production methods. So they're all good to go. We can look at sort of a history if we want, of sort of some different things that have happened. But we're just going to try to progress through as quickly as we can and try to get people into space. So the Maru are still in trouble because they're going to run out of resources in 32 years, and they're nowhere near getting to the next age. So we need to get them out of industrial and into nuclear because it'll change the resources they use. Establish a new nation. That's increasing our population. Not great. Hey, the Batir have something going on. Oh, they're in a resource crisis. We're already in a resource crisis with the Maru. Scarcity crisis in Vex. Ore scarcity. Ore veins are becoming scarce in the Vex system. The effects of city-state expansion brought the Batir civilization to a breaking point. While they're dealing with the resource scarcity, will the fertile territories find ways to prevent the complete exhaustion of their environment, or will they turn against each other? So, yeah, we've seen this before. What's your situation? I thought you were fine when we checked on you last. Yeah, they've got like 100 years. And they're halfway. I don't know the corresponding, so they have weird age. So they're currently float age, which is sort of like they're traveling around on giant ships or something, I think. So, ore scarcity is coming. So we prepare for a future without ore. Will the sovereigns preserve the environment of Vex or deny the population access to essential resources? So 34% chance for decline. This 37% chance of hostilities. Scarcity causes discord and competition. Knowledge diminishes. And just straight up war. The Batir pick up the incendiary grenades and fight over access to the remaining ore veins. Yeah, they're plant people, so fire bad. War barges destroy entire library plantations in the so-called ore wars. So we're already in ore wars with the Maru. So I think we try the precaution. So try to not use ore if we can. Conservation in Vex. To counter the scarcity of ore veins in Vex, the plantscapers of the Batir are taking control of their fertile territories. Will they be able to create societies better equipped to deal with city-state expansion? Saving our planet, lifting people out of poverty, advancing economic growth. These are one and the same fight. Ban Ki-moon. So, ore preservation. We can go civilizational pillar, gives us a lot of resources and ethics. Regular development gives us some. Dead end changes the civilization quite a bit. The new sovereigns of the Batir fertile territories encourage a new generation of plantscapers and thinkers to prepare their people as best they can for a troublesome future. Regular development. One fertile territory finds new ways to preserve the environment of Vex without bringing harm to the Batir, but other sovereign continue the old ways of city-state expansion. Dead end. Authority is not recognized. They fail to have any noteworthy influence. I think... Yeah, we already have like 2 civilizational pillars, one being the library, one being the worship of the dead and building large sort of memorials to them. Yeah, I kind of like the idea of conservation fitting in. The Maru already have conservation as a pillar from early on. I think, anyway, from an event. We had something where they were over hunting. I think we made that a core pillar. So scarcity inspired the plantscapers to take control of the fertile territories, motivate their people to make adjustments. So now they've got 368 years. Their growth is off the chart, though. It's way too high. Batir travel across the oceans, floating on islands of plant matter. These living rafts vastly expand the reach of their library plantations. Yeah, their population and growth is pretty nuts, but they've got a while. So let's go check back on the Morrow. So the signal is kind of spreading out from the Dorloth here. Okay. 23 years, not looking good. Just gonna keep moving through. Is there alien life out there, and will it ever invade us? So yeah, we could take technological advancement, or we could drop the population growth. Let's drop population growth. More wars reduce the population, so number and growth down. Oh, something's going on with the Vakai. We've kind of been ignoring them mostly. What's going on with you guys? A great war threatens Kepler. Headhunting. The Vakai collect the heads of their defeated foes. These trophies are very prestigious, and further conflicts are started in order to obtain more of them. Lock the target, bait the line, spread the net, and catch the man. Okay, plenty of food for the moment. They're still in the Stone Age, so we don't really need to keep the population down. There aren't that many, less than 10 million. Growth is a little high. So peace, no, we're not going for peace. Collection of heads is only used in controlled rituals, no. Regular conflict. The brutal practice causes many Vakai to lose their heads. 400,000 casualties. Yeah, we can live with that. Total war. Headhunters dominate the Vakai tribes. The collection of heads never stops and is carried out obsessively. 1.2 million. Huh. I'm actually tempted to go, let's make these guys crazy headhunting bugs, because that gets me some points. And they're fine. I think their growth will still be okay. There'll just be less of them. So, yeah, let's go total war. So, crazy headhunting bug people. Warriors on Kepler 4 collect the heads of the fallen enemies, generating an impressive head count. Was the deciding factor in gaining prestige among the Vakai. Yeah, so growth is at 0% now, which potentially could be an issue if it dips negative. But that should change as things progress, so they should be pretty stable. We've got 8 years. Let's go research. State-of-the-art laboratory. The Morrow achieved new insights. I definitely don't want the population going up. Okay, less warfare. Once powerful nation falls, and resource crisis. Scarcity crisis. Coal fields are becoming scarce in the Tau City system. The effects of wars brought the Morrow civilization to a breaking point. While they are dealing with the resource scarcity, will the nations find ways to prevent the complete exhaustion of the environment, or will they turn against each other? Well, that depends. So, we have precaution, 55% chance for decline. Morrow nations prepare for future without coal, with their leaders preserve the environment. Crisis, 58% chance of hostilities. Scarcity causes discord and competition amongst the Morrow. Knowledge diminishes while the nations of Tau City compete, generally resources. War, we're already in kind of an ore war, so I'm not sure. Morrow pick up their simple rifles and fight over access to the remaining coal fields. Tank battalions destroy entire industrial areas in the so-called coal wars. We're already in ore wars, so now we're at coal wars. At least I think the ore wars never ended, so it's just kind of one area of like fighting to the next. We could just go for war. Yeah, you know what? We're just going to go for additional fighting, I think. So that'll reduce the population and the population growth, which is a bit high. So growth still pretty high at 6%. The ore wars during the Morrow Nautical Age were a period of deadly conflict over the remaining ore veins in Tau City. Let's get some resources. Agricultural architects established new resource management methods. We'll go tech. If I'm not here kind of babysitting, so I could jump between every single planet every single time. If I'm not here babysitting, I think it just picks something random as it goes through. So yeah, we're going to go tech, remarkable scientist, go resources again. So resource management. We definitely don't want population growth to increase. It's still pretty high. I'd actually like it to drop a bit. We'll go for the random event. New line of simple rifles is manufactured. 78 years might be okay. They're sort of slowly moving up. Alright, something's going on with the Dorloth Democratic States. Well, that doesn't look good. Extinction in Rigel. Radioactive waste collapse. Well, that's a bit of a problem. Radioactive waste produced by the booming nuclear industry of Rigel 7 is piling up rapidly. The Dorloth face a real risk to their ecosystems as the toxic byproduct is freely dumped into the environment without any disposal standards. That's not a good idea. All the waste in a year... Okay, we should do it wrong. All the waste in a year from nuclear power plant can be stored under a desk. That's a really terrible Ronald Reagan. It's been a while since I've heard his voice. What are we going to do about the toxic waste pileup? Close call. Dorloth scientists discover the gruesome long-term effects of radioactive waste and start to construct a shielded disposal project. Not bad. Minimal survivors. 1.6 billion lost. We only have 1.6 billion, so that's kind of bad. Countless Dorloth die from radiation poisoning and cancer before the toxic effects of nuclear waste are understood. Vast areas are uninhabitable. Complete extinction. Well, I mean, either one of these seems like complete extinction. So I'm going to go ahead and shell out to keep these guys alive, which means we're going to have limited options for everybody else as we progress forward. So a close call. We figure out what's wrong. We know how to deal with radioactive waste. Giant concrete tombs in Rigel 7 contain nuclear waste the Dorloth accumulated over the centuries. Okay, so they're fine. Growth is still really high. So I would, like if I wasn't babysitting the Mario, I would drop these guys' growth as well. It's way too high at the moment. So Mario, 75 years. Let's go additional resources. Mario music albums represent harmony. Okay. Yeah, let's drop this a bit. A battle over an input Mario industrial area is won by an army of rifle soldiers, so we're down to 4% growth. Nation founded. 4% growth, so it dropped 2%, maybe 2 here. Battle over an important Mario industrial area is won by an army of rifle soldiers. Yes, we're down to 2%. I think that's pretty reasonable. Let's go peace. Mario soldiers lay down their rifles, abandon the art of war. Let's go some tech. State-of-the-art laboratory, the Mario achieved new scientific insights. Alright, something's going on with the Patir. Paradigm shift and Vex. Overseas Trading Company. Powerful territories establish naval trading routes across the oceans of their home planet. As a result, the powerful stock company is funded that seeks to form a maritime trade monopoly across the lucrative sea regions of Vexus. Like the East India Trading Company or something? Yeah. In many ways, the East India Company was a model of commercial efficiency. 100 years into its history, it had only 35 permanent employees in its head office. Nevertheless, that skeleton staff executed a corporate coup unparalleled in history, the military conquest, subjugation, and plunder of vast tracts of southern Asia. So, what do we do? Cultural ascent. An ocean-wide monopoly would do a lot of harm to the weaker territories of the Batir. After protests from thinkers and sovereigns, the company is dissolved and its assets are used to fund workshops overseas. So just generally nice benefit. Cultural expansion, it's going to massively increase population and growth, which is bad. The reign of the powerful trading company is short but hugely profitable. Their financial success inspires an era of maritime exploitation and the establishment of countless trading posts all over Vexus. Cultural descent. After taking control of the naval routes, the trading company becomes an independent faction with its own sovereign territory and trading navy. The failing fertile territories and competing companies build up war fleets to regain control of the sea regions. I like these guys. I'd like to keep them relatively stable, but I'm running out of points. So I'm going to go ahead and do Cultural Ascent, but things could start getting really nasty soon because we may not have the points to do other stuff. So let's just have some general nice benefits across the board. During its first attempt at establishing maritime trading companies, the Batir already set up strong anti-monopoly laws to prevent the forming of profit-oriented structures that could operate outside of the fertile territory's oversight. So government in control over the corporations. Yeah, so they're good as far as resources go. Population growth is nuts, so it's kind of surprising that they're doing so well on resources. I'd like to get the Maru to the point where they might be able to detect this jazz radio signal when it gets to them, but I don't know if that's going to happen. 61 years. Yeah, we could go a little bit more peaceful. Sociologists inspire the Maru to live peacefully. Leader rises to power. Death of beloved leader. New technological age for the Batir. Industrial age. The Batir start to study electricity, steam power, and the machine manufacturing in the industrial age. Harnessing the power of radio waves might allow them to send signals into outer space, but this civilization could accidentally eradicate itself as weapons development thrusts forth. Interference with the planet poses a serious threat to the ecosystem that has sustained butirity through the ages, or batirity through the ages. Oh, I've changed quite a bit. Got some kind of weird bondage gear on or something. I don't know what's going on with that. Yeah, barely have enough if we wanted to do this, so probably not going to do that. The age sees an explosion in the Batir potential for telecommunications via radio waves. Mass-produced goods, including new medicines, could improve the lives of many. Basic advancement, hard work, and ingenuity are needed to maintain or manage rapid urbanization without critically harming the planet. Train networks across vast swaths of Vexus offer high-speed mobility for both freight and passengers. Or, the Batir focus all their efforts on designing tanks, bomber planes, and simple automatic weapons for increased leverage against enemies. Naval warfare also gets industrialized. These guys are relatively peaceful and very utopian, so it's kind of weird they would suddenly take a shift towards that. We'll just go with the basic advancement. So I think that's fine. Yeah, the Batir support large library areas through industrial production. So yeah, they've got large libraries, tomb complexes, that kind of thing. So yeah, these guys are already into the industrial age, so they could pick up the signal when it gets to them. The Maru here, industrial, so I think they can pick it up as well. It'd be nice if we could get to nuclear. Definitely need to get there before the 54 years runs out. Death of beloved leader. We can get some ethics, I guess. A cinematic magnum opus of their history. Advances in architecture inspire redesign of industrial areas. Well, look, it's 3 negative resources, and I don't have a choice. That's kind of crappy. Large land region is polluted by industrial waste. Oh, the Vakai made it out of the Stone Age. Vakai reached the Obsidian Age. Kepler-4 experiences an agricultural revolution marked by the utilization of obsidian and other readily available volcanic materials. These materials advance the Vakai immensely as they are perfect for the construction of tools and weapons. The drones of our hive started digging out the glass of the gods. This was the beginning of our path to grow from a feeblish swarm and to become the World Eater Empire. Well, that's ominous. Hey, we got clothes on now. Alright, so choices. Actually, not that expensive for this. The wise folk shape the obsidian material into lenses to observe the stars, while other Vakai scholars gather knowledge of the strange flora and fauna blossoming between the lava flows. Right, it's kind of a weird lava planet here. This leads to an explosion of knowledge and propels the Vakai ahead in a major way. advancement. Thanks to development of obsidian containers and volcanic fertilizer, the Vikai are able to farm with more stability, although they're kind of raising beasts to eat. This leads to Kepler-4 becoming more suitable for large permanent settlements. Agriculture gets a boost, and Vikai settlers are excited to start growing their families. Yeah, probably that. Power. The wise folk focus more and more on the development of weapons, encouraged by their trapper queens. Unique razor-sharp weapons made of volcanic glass strengthen the beast trappers of the Vikai to give them advantage in future conflicts. That's tempting as well. That gives me some points. I mean, we are kind of a crazy headhunter society. Got a decent amount of time. Growth is currently 0, so we should probably do this just to get some growth going. So I'm actually going to be a bit more sane here for the moment. So lush green jungles or rocky wastelands full of massive magma pits. So yeah, into the Obsidian Age. Resources, 800 years. Population growth is not bad. So they should be totally fine. We can just kind of let them roll along. 38 years here. Alright, we're getting close to getting to nuclear, so let's push that a bit. Remarkable scientist. Development event. What's going on with you guys? I don't see anything crazy here. Knowledge in Tau City. Encyclopedia of everything. The Mara start to gather and record all of their knowledge in a single book. The encyclopedia becomes extremely popular and is updated on a regular basis. Whoever dictates what is written in the Sirius Almanac dictates what everybody on this dusty planet will think. So we can make the encyclopedia a civilizational pillar. It's the most important book in Mara society. Study and updating of the book is considered vital. Regular development. The encyclopedia is read and spoken of widely and greatly improves the research capabilities of the Mara. Or dead end. Because of outdated information and critical errors, the Mara abandoned the encyclopedia. We're pretty close to the next era, but we could kind of jumpstart it here, but that's a lot of points. So I'm just going to go regular development. It's there, it's going to help a bit, but it's not like a massive improvement. 37 years. Just going to keep rolling along. New nation is formed. Getting there. Let's go more resources. Mara music album represents harmony, and that helps resources apparently. Alright, we've made it to the next age with the Mara, which is the nuclear age. So they're actually not super far behind the Dorloth. So same thing here, nothing really changed. How are they doing as far as uranium deposits and stuff, though? So it'll change after we get through here. So wisdom doesn't cost me anything. So the Maru romanticize technology as they begin to see the rapid, drastic changes it brings about in their society. Inspired by science fiction across all media, the Maru hope to make contact with alien life forms if there's anyone out there. Advancement. The Maru could achieve the dream of space travel in this age. With superhighways now connecting most cities, it might also be a good time to start thinking about reducing fossil fuel consumption. Power. Heading further down the warpath, the Maru can expect to see assault rifles, jet fighters, and napalm. Yeah, I mean, advancement's nice, but I think we're just going to do wisdom because it is free. So we'll progress into the next era. Okay, so we're already into another crisis because there aren't a lot of radioactive deposits here. And I don't know if that's random for the planets, but yeah, there's only 38 years worth of radioactive deposits to get us through the nuclear age. The problem is that we're already quite low growth. Population isn't that high. I think when we get down, it'll then trigger a resource crisis once we're low, and then we can try to manage it. It'll give us, like, once it's like they recognize, oh, we're in deep crap, we're going to run out of resources, it'll give you 100 years because they're sort of trying to conserve it, or things can go very wrong very quickly. So again, I kind of feel like I need to babysit these guys, which is sort of unfortunate. So populous residential areas, large-scale energy production methods. Yeah, the Mara Republic was put through an ordeal during the Wood Crisis in their Iron Age. A large amount of Mara got denied essential resources and died in order to get the amount of Mara and woods in balance again. So that happened. Then there was wars over the ore, then fighting over the coal deposits and stuff. Now we're into radioactive stuff, and we're still having problems. Nuclear age technology allows the Mara to extract radioactive materials and fossil fuels from the ocean. Let's just keep trugging along. If aliens exist, they would have visited Tau City long ago, or at least have given us some indication of their existence. Well, something's coming. You can actually look and see. It's still pretty far away, actually, the signal. The Maru down here, the Dorloth here. So that was the kind of their initial jazz music that they sent out. So I think the stars that we're filling are sort of like tech level and getting towards the singularity. Alright, we're going to keep babysitting the Maru here for a bit. Could we defend ourselves against an alien invasion? Advances in Mara architecture inspire a redesign of their residential areas. Dorloth Democratic States have an event. Reduction in Rigel. Nuclear waste recycling. Dorloth scientists have discovered a promising technique for using spent nuclear fuel to generate energy. If successful, the process will use up over 99% of remaining material, almost entirely eliminating the waste storage problem. That's pretty darn good. But it is going to cost me if we want to make it a focus, which we can't do. So, how are we doing? 114 years, scarcity, halfway through the nuclear age. I don't know if we switch after the nuclear age to something else. I think we'll just, no matter what, I think we'll just do regular development because of point issues. Dead end. In practice, the process requires more energy than it outputs. Nuclear scientists continue working the problem, but never finds a real application. Yeah, I think regular development. The technology is ineffective, but public concern about safety and the use of dirty waste products. Though the technology is effective. Yeah, so slowly researched and adopted because of the perception. Yeah, that's fine. So that gets them almost 300 years to get through the nuclear age, and they're halfway through it. So they're totally fine, as long as they're not going to use nuclear resources in the next era as well. Alright, here. 21 years. Not a lot of time. Mara perform reenactments of their history on television. Hey, we got resources. Mara movies represent harmony. It's just showing it, increasing awareness of like how many resources are still available out there. The cargo planes transport goods in Mara across Tau City 3. Large new residential area established. Yeah, so the question marks can be good or bad. I probably should avoid them. I keep going for them. Beloved chairman has died. Yep, we're into resource crisis. Again. Uranium scarcity. Radioactive deposits are becoming scarce in the Tau City system. The effects of Cold Wars brought the Maro civilization to a breaking point. While they're dealing with the resource scarcity, will the Unions find ways to prevent the complete exhaustion of their environment, or will they turn against each other? So yeah, there's been fighting over wood, then ores, then coal, at least to some extent. Now, we've got this. So, 53% chance of decline, preparing for a future without uranium. Crisis, 56% chance of hostilities. Scarcity causes discord and competition. Knowledge diminishes. Or we can go to war. The Mara pick up their automatic rifles and fight over access to the remaining radioactive deposits. Naval battle fleets destroy entire residential areas in the so-called uranium wars. 14 million casualties. Yeah, let's have a nuclear war. We've had ore conflicts, we've had all kinds of other conflicts. Why not? It's sort of been the history of the species that they're just constantly fighting and killing each other over access to resources. So yeah, the Coal Wars, before that there were the Ore Wars. Growth is now negative, which is a bit of an issue. But that will make resources last longer. Okay, we are getting near the end of the age. Growth is still negative, so we might want to bump that at some point. Remarkable nuclear scientist is widely circulated, so pushing up that. Something's going on with the Batir fertile nations. Machine gun mastery. The Batir mastered the manufacturing and usage of automated firearms. These rapidly firing weapons, able to mechanically reload, are used by soldiers on Vexus to turn battlefields into a hell of bullet salvos. I wanted to invent an engine that could run forever. I could have developed a new train had I stayed on the railway. It would have looked like the AK-47, though. Mikhail Klishnikov. So, mastery of machine guns. Unsafe production methods and cheap materials often cause overheating, weapon jamming, and ammunition explosion. The Batir stopped using automated firearms altogether. Regular development, mastery of machine guns, increased military strength, absolute power. Machine guns become crucial in every aspect of the Batir military. Factories producing these weapons are constructed everywhere on Vexus, and their owners become powerful leaders. Yeah, that's kind of weird. You got an AK, so you're a leader. No, we'll just go regular development. That's fine. We can have assault rifles, not a problem. Population here is pretty crazy. Growth is still really high, and they're still doing really well. So, like, this planet seems like it has a ton of coal. So I think it depends on the planet. So there's different resources, it seems like. They could have a problem getting into the next age because there might not be a lot of nuclear fissionable materials like uranium to keep things going. So we're only 400 million, we're losing population, there's still only 76 years. We'll keep going along. An enchanting new style of movie has been developed. Reenactments of history on TV, sure. Let's get some resources here. He's pushing conservation, essentially, I guess. Influential Maru chairman rises to power. Maru get to the next age. Digital. Actually, so they've went through faster than the Dorloth. I gotta check on the Dorloth. What's going on with them? Digital age. The Maru are now connected via complex computer systems, satellite networks, and mobile communications devices. With constant interaction in the global computer network and new digital art forms, cultural transformation is stark and rapid. Preliminary genetic and biodigital experiments could lead to health improvements and longevity. Caution is advised in these and other uncharted territories. The NSA has built an infrastructure that allows it to intercept almost everything. With this capability, the vast majority of human communications are automatically ingested without targeting. Edward Snowden. Alright, wisdom. Doesn't cost me anything. Maru all over Tau City 3 have unprecedented access to information thanks to the internet. With processing power to spare, they may launch a coordinated search for intelligent life in the galaxy, or try to find cures for the deadliest diseases. That's pretty good. Advancement. So they've got 100 years left. Maru continue their exploration of space with renewed vigor, so the digital age we are still using radioactive deposits. So navigating the pitfalls of mass consumerism, city planners explore possibilities for genetically modified crops that are safe to eat and also sustainable for farmers and the environment. Power. Digital technology applies to warfare, results in guided missiles, enhanced recon, and remotely piloted combat drones with autonomous killing machines just around the corner. Unions could also implement ubiquitous surveillance to keep tabs on citizens. Yeah, let's go. We'll keep pushing the technological aspect of things here. I feel like these guys, their response to reduced resources is conflict, but also a really big push to try to go for tech. So they're trying to solve solutions with technology, but they're also fighting over what resources are left constantly. So they're sort of good and bad mixed together in there. So they're now the Maru groups. Maru can now connect large metropolitan areas on a global scale. So they've got 100 years. That's not too bad. Growth is negative, which is a bit of a problem. Let's take a look at the Dorloth Democratic States. Oh, they're now the Vakir Ladders. guys have kind of slowed down technologically, it seems like. There's a lot of you. Growth is really high. Alright, I think the Maru are probably okay for a bit. So extracting radioactive materials and fossil fuels. Yeah, let's go a little bit more peace. Psychologists inspired the Droloth to live peacefully. Let's drop the growth a bit. Defrosted Titans reduce the Doroloth population. That's right, there's giant monsters on this planet wandering around that attack people if they leave the settlements. The Vikai have something going on. Injustice and Kepler. Well, we are like militaristic headhunters. Traditionally, the elderly are highly respected in Kepler. Now the larger Vikai ladders are formed. The authority of the elders is put into law. The oldest could be chosen as trapper prolocutors, not because of their wit or skill, but simply because tradition demands it. We've seen a similar event happen before with one of the other races. I don't remember which, though. So prevention, respect for the elderly, does not automatically give every Vikai elder the right to rule over others. In general, trapper prolocutors are still being chosen based on merit. Regular development, some leaders become fanatical gerontocracies with varying degrees of success. Others decide on auxiliary methods to choose their trapper prolocutors. Massive injustice. The entire Vikai civilization adopts the rule of old trapper prolocutors. The young do not enjoy any rights and have to follow the will of the elders, even if those elders are cruel or unfit to govern. Yeah, we'll just go regular development, that's fine. These guys are fairly good. Growth is relatively high. Plenty of resources. After respect for elders has been established in the law, several ladders adopted gerontocracy, only replacing their trapper prolocutors when they died. Other ladders enacted additional conditions for rulership, including mental and physical fitness, education, and wealth. Makes sense. So we've got a decent amount of points back here. But we're going to park on you guys, try to get you past the nuclear, at least into digital. Let's drop growth some more. More Titans eating Dorloths. Democratic state. Just keep plugging along. If aliens exist, they would have visited us long ago. Death of the beloved secretary. Let's go some tech advancements. Great nuclear scientist leaves behind an important legacy. Do that again. Dorloth movies represent harmony. Something's happening with the Dorloth. Rigel is building spaceships. In the nuclear era, habitable meteor. A large meteor in the proximity of Rigel 7 could be reshaped into the hull for a very primitive spaceship. Dorloth astronauts are sent to the object to begin construction. Okay, that's kind of cool. One of the major steps in colonizing our own solar system and in sending colonists out into the Milky Way may be the creation of synthetic worlds inside hollow asteroids. Epic project! Repurposing works so well, the Dorloth decided to remodel an entire asteroid field into a swarm of asteroid ships. Half the population of Rigel 7 is moving towards Gliese. Regular development, astronauts modify and move into the hollowed-out meteor. Simple nuclear payloads will push the asteroid towards the Gliese system on a journey that will span generations or dead end. Yeah, let's send a ship towards Gliese. The heck? I guess we're now in space or something? Dorloth meteor ship. The Dorloth are traveling towards the Gliese system. So now, we actually have two things here. There's the meteor ship and the original planet. I'm not too concerned about the meteor ship. If they die off, that's fine. It's not a big deal. But if they make it, fine. I've had some weird stuff happen in a game in the past when civilizations kind of split up. Psychologists inspire them to live peacefully. We'll drop growth again. More defrosted titans running around eating people. 2 billion. Kind of nuts. New democratic state. Inspired to live peacefully. Yeah, we could get more resources. Environmental protection measures enacted by Dorloth. Decontamination specialists restore land region. Death of the beloved secretary. Maru! Wow. So they're already out of digital? Holy crap. The Maru are flying into technological advancement. That's nuts. Yeah, it almost is like conflict is sort of helping you push into new eras. So the Maru reached the cyber age. With rapid advancement, artificial intelligence, and technologically augmented Maru, civilization undergoes drastic change and reaches new milestones in science, engineering, and the arts. He still dreamed of cyberspace, hope fading nightly. All the speed he took, all the turns he'd taken, and the corners he'd cut in Night City, and he'd still see the Matrix in his sleep. Bright lattices of logic unfolding across the colorless void. Neuromancer, William Gibson. Alright, in the new era, we have wisdom. Crossing into the realm of AI, Maru now have the ability to vastly improve their society and facilitate communications with faraway beings. However, new technologies present great risks as well, so a little extra wisdom wouldn't hurt. Advancement. Maru focus on innovations in engineering. This includes finding the balance between consumption and resource preservation, advancing the infrastructure of their megacities, and exploring the galaxy beyond Tau Ceti. Power. The Maru prioritize military power, creating new tools for defense and combat on Tau Ceti 3 for elsewhere in space. The fear of yet unknown alien enemies inspires dreams of interstellar conquest. Yeah, advancement's interesting. Kind of pushing them to the stars a little bit. Wisdom, I mean, they're massively just flying through technological eras, which is kind of nuts. It doesn't cost me anything either. These guys are actually not that bad. They were pretty dystopian earlier on. Considering they've got a history of just constant warfare and their growth is still negative. Yeah, we're gonna go wisdom, I think. It's now the Maru multitudes, although their population is declining. Ever so slightly. That will probably turn around at some point. We're now on ore deposits. Deep ore deposits. Okay, so we swapped out to something else. Alright. 286 years for them is probably fine for them to get to the next era. And I think... it's the meteor ship. The meteor ship. Yeah, they're going to run out 136 years. They're at nuclear... So you actually have different tech development levels. There's only 10,000 of them. Yeah, interesting. So when they get there, they might potentially be just as advanced, if not more advanced, than the Dorloth on the home planet, depending on what happens. You could even have situations where the home planet dies off and stuff. But I think this is a good place to stop. We've actually made pretty good progress. We've gotten into the digital era, cyber era with the Maru. The Maru are doing fantastic. Kind of coming back out of some conflict periods and stuff, fighting. The Dorloth here are sort of ticking along just slowly. We might have another planet colonized here in, I mean, who knows how many years exactly. It doesn't really show you like years, but we actually have a colony ship heading to another system, so we might have Dorloth on a couple systems here shortly. But yeah, this has been the Fermi Paradox. I've been Disturbing Puppet. Come back and we'll continue and see how things progress in this little galaxy of ours. Hopefully I will see you then. Until then, have a good one.